Hello and welcome to 20 Lore Pro. Thank you so much for joining us here today as we watch the Hunter Burton Memorial Lorcana Championship. This was the second annual event, the 11th year for the Hunter Burton Memorial itself, and we are so thankful that 20 Lore Pro was invited back for this year's tournament. This year we had over 70 competitors compete in the Lorcana tournament, along with many side events and freebies that were raffled and given out all throughout the day. We want to thank our Enchanted Level sponsors Cloud Collectibles, Random Encounter Games, The Card Haven, Pixelborn, Mothership Books and Games, and Pixel Haven. Thanks to them and many within the community, we were able to raise over $7,500 to support 988, the U.S. National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you or a loved one are experiencing suicidal ideation or are going through a mental health crisis, reach out to 988. There's support available 24/7, and there are professionals who want to help you find the right resources that you need. Again, this is 20 Lore Pro, and I'm Sir Ashtown, and thank you so much for joining us. We also want to thank Miguel over at Diamond Ink Apparel for doing the beautiful artwork on the Lorcana Championship playmats that you see before you on the tournament screen. If you want to get yours non-serialized, you can head on over to 20lore.pro to our merch section. Also, there will be a link in the description to get yours today. We want to thank GFQ for printing those playmats and for being a long-time partner alongside 20 Lore Pro. Thank you, GFQ Underground, for printing those mats. And here we are going on to the next round.
Hello and welcome to 20 Lore Pro. I'm Sir Ashtown, and joining with me today is Liam from the Illumiteers. How are you doing, Liam?
I am doing very well. I'm very excited to be here. I love this event, and I'm honored to be back for a second year. Thanks for having me.
I'm really excited to be here. We have had, a plethora of players join. We went from 30 players to 40, and I believe we went all the way up to 68 players. So now this is a 7-round tournament. We're going to have more rounds for y'all tomorrow, along with the top 8. So you're just getting a small taste of what we're doing here today at the Hunter Burton Memorial Lorcana Championship. We are going on into round 3. We are here at the Hunter Burton Memorial, and we are so excited to be raising awareness in the gaming community of 988. If you or a loved one are going through a mental health crisis or having suicidal ideation, head on over to 988. There's help available 24/7. Hello and welcome to 20 Lore Pro. We are here live at the Hunter Burton Memorial Lorcana Championship Top 4, and we are seeing that Aaron is piloting his Sapphire Steel List against Ryan. Aaron was able to win, I believe, against Max, who is piloting a Ruby Sapphire List.
Ruby Sapphire List, yeah.
Against Aaron, and he was able to get that match win. And so we are here in the top 4, game 1. Seeing a mirror match.
Yeah, so many storylines to play here. First, that was the longest Lorcana game I've ever seen in the top 8 there. Aaron, grinding it out against that Ruby Sapphire item deck. And here, piloting a mirror, but not a true mirror. From what I understand, Ryan is piloting it's often referred to as the Kiwi version of this deck. It's more a mid-range / aggressive version of Blue Steel. It plays cards like McDuck Manor, those Alices that you see there, the Plutos that you see there, which are not run in the item variant of this deck. And so Aaron's deck, very different, built around heavy item synergy with cards like Oswald, and even the Queen being worked in this time around. So mirror in colors, like a lot of people expected Blue Steel to do very well, but in reality, these are two very different decks, with just a few similar cards.
Yeah, I'm just really excited to see kind of these two great players come to the top 4 here and to compete. We have Ryan's list here available to look at. Those are also on the 20 Lore Pro Discord. They've been posted in the general chat, and this is really great to see because he's got 4 Plutos. That Bodyguard is such a great card. Great body on it, able to just really prevent you from challenging in early. This is going to be tough, though, because a lot of great removal in these Sapphire Steel lists and strong characters.
Yeah, this is gosh, such a fascinating match. So Aaron's deck, the inevitability here is with this item deck. I think it's a card that runs, the Tamatoas, the Lucky Dimes, and the end game. This deck can close things out very quickly, and so the longer it goes and the more resources get built up, the more combo pieces on Aaron's side of the board. That's who's going to win this game. And so the key for Ryan here is to try to control the board, but push the lore total, get closer and closer to victory. One of the things I want to point out too, because it may come into play later, is oftentimes in these decks we talk about reach, cards which allow you to gain lore instantly without having set up a character and a quest on the board. We often see this reach happen in Amethyst with the Goat, or now the Giant Cobra. You also have versions in other deck with cards like Go-Go Tamago, in Emerald giving you that reach. But here in Sapphire, there's a card called Gleam that came out in set 4, which Ryan is running in his deck. It's a card that banishes chosen item, but its player gains 2 lore. A card which you can use for item removal, but you can also use it to put yourself over the top. So Ryan here, one of his game plans is going to be to race ahead, get up to 15, 16, 17 lore, and then if Aaron does gain control of the board, perhaps draw into that Gleam and have an item on board to be able to close out the game without having to establish anything.
Gosh, this is a strong combination of cards on Ryan's side of the board here with this Cogsworth and this Alice. I mean, this Alice just having ward, but also giving support, ward to another character. Cogsworth already has ward, but this is a strong combination of cards that really can support other characters on your board.
Yeah, 2 characters there, not able to be chosen by anything because of that ward ability. But over on Aaron's side, we are getting this item synergy running. We do have the Flavisham there, which can eat items. Tamatoa pulling 2 items back upon play, but able to play an item for free when it quests. There are, when Zan Syed, one of the creators of this deck, with Aaron Rubin, talked about this deck, he talks about how he thinks of it as a combo deck. What he's trying to do is string together 2-3 cards, which allow you to do many more inks worth of things in a turn than you normally would be allowed. Tamatoa is an example, using it to quest and play an item, or using an Oswald, immediately hitting a Lucky Dime on the top deck, or perhaps getting a 4th item in play so you can then play a Scrooge McDuck to then search for another item. There's lots of plays where you can string together 2 or 3 of those cards to really have really impactful turns. And that's what Aaron is trying to do here, to build up that big endgame play.
This is, I mean, at a board state that you're at 9-1, but like you're saying, once you can get these Tamatoas out, get these items out, try to either get your Lucky Dime or the recursion ability for them to come back, you can gain as many resources as you need in your hand, but also the ability to try to gain a ton of lore. So even though Aaron is behind right now on the lore total, that does not mean that he cannot come back very quickly in a short amount of time. There's that McDuck Manor. I love this card. Saw it a lot played last set, but just that 9 willpower, I mean, that is strong.
Very difficult card for this deck to deal with. McDuck Manor rises in popularity every time cards or decks like Ruby Sapphire, or really Emerald Steel, get more popular. Ruby Sapphire, or any Ruby deck, does have things like Maui, which you can pair with other cards to increase its strength to deal with McDuck Manors quickly. But most of the time in these control decks, these control item decks, McDuck Manors become very effective counters, and you start to see people work McDuck Manors in to deal with the mirror. But here, look at that Scrooge McDuck coming into play, looking at the top 4 cards of the library, finding a Lucky Dime there in the top 4, so we'll add that to the hand. Still, I mean, the Manor's still sitting there, going to gain 2 lore every single turn. Ryan clearly the beatdown at this point.
And that Tamatoa, is it a 4/5? Let me go back. That is a strong challenger, because it'll help you get there with that Scrooge McDuck and an extra Tipo or an extra 1. Anything to help you in addition to get rid of that McScrooge Manor.
That's true. You do have the strength on board to deal with the McDuck Manor if you want to take time to do it. But the downside, of course, is you'd rather be questing with that Tamatoa to play items. So the McDuck Manor representing a threat, a counting clock, if you will. And to deal with it, you're going to have to spend use characters to take care of it, which you'd rather be using for other things.
Oh gosh, Aaron here does have 2 of those Scrooge McDucks on board.
is Scrooge McDuck, a card that you really like to play for free in this deck by building up those items and then stringing it into an item off the top of your deck. Here, though, allowing you to dig a little bit, find cards that you need. And I don't think any items in play to take advantage of that. Well, no, we're sending everything into that McDuck mana right now.
Oh, look at Aaron there, pointing out he was gaining 2 lore off of that McDuck manner, kind of helping his opponent remember. We love that sportsmanship and that gameplay. Aaron is our returning champion for the Hunter Burton Memorial. This is our 2nd annual event here in Hurst, Texas. We're so excited to be here as we raise awareness for 988, U.S. National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Yeah, fantastic player, Aaron. Fantastic player, fantastic deck builder. And not surprised with the amount of work I see him put into the game to see him here as a returning champion, making it into the top 4. And if we make it through this match, playing again for the championship.
Well, we just want to thank all of our competitors here today as we have been here with 20 Lore Pro and you, the viewers at home, for watching. We appreciate y'all's support as we try to bring y'all the latest in competitive Lorcana. This has been such an amazing tournament so far, and I mean, this match has been no different. We are really seeing some great competitors here. Aaron now taking his turn. Here's a Flavor Sham. Has lots of abilities to draw, able to get those items back with the Tamatoa. We can see the synergy here, which makes Sapphire Steel so viable. And there's that 8-drop Tamatoa.
Yeah, I had to look away for a brief moment. Come back here, Tamatoa. Yeah, so the end game engine here, we have most of our pieces available. Tamatoa is going to start pulling items back. The other Tamatoa can play it for free. Flavisham can also eat items, and there's the Lucky Dime. Not a ton of items on the board at the moment, only 2. So that Tamatoa will have 3 lore. And now we're going to eat one of them to draw 2 cards of Flavisham. But you're going to see next turn, if most of these pieces stick, what this deck can really do if unleashed. Pulling items back from the discard, playing them for free, eating items, gaining lore with the Lucky Dime. This is the end game engine this deck wants to build, and it's mostly in play here.
Yeah, this is impressive board state from Aaron. I mean, you're right. He's got all the pieces kind of the gauntlet together. He's got the Tamatoas, he's got the Lucky Dimes, he's got extra items in his Spanish pile. So we're going to see a lot of things move for Ryan to have to answer.
Looks like we're going to, I assume we're going to quest here, get ourselves closer to victory. That Alice will add 1 lore, I believe. So doing the math, 17 lore. Again, we do have the Gleans in this deck, I'll point out. But what Ryan's doing here is saying, hey, I see all the things that you can do. I see all the questing that you can do, the item shenanigans. So I'm going to force you to use your characters to deal with my characters because I'm representing game on board here. So let's see what the answer is. We are going to see all sorts of item shenanigans to start this turn. There goes the Popsicle for 1, drawing a card. I think we've drawn into a Bell. Great early game card.
Still have this Flavor Sham as well to quest and draw 2, but there's another Popsicle.
And it is possible we can put this game away here with all these 1-drops, and I think we might just do that. So now you have 4 items on the board. Tamatoa represents 5 lore with the Lucky Dime. That's 10 lore off the Tamatoa alone. 10 lore plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with the other characters. That's game right there. Just stacking up the items, and Lucky Dime, Tamatoa, a combination that we've seen work together set after set after set, working together again here to gain 10 lore in a turn with those 2 cards, 5 lore with everything else, and Aaron has shut the door just like that on this game.
Wow, congratulations to Aaron here in game 1 of the top 4. This is exciting because he's the returning champion. He's trying to defend his title. He's up a game now. We already have seen our other top 4 match, which means after this match is over, we're going to go straight into the finals.
That is true. It'll probably be a quick turn. People are eager to get this match moving. So don't go anywhere after this game because we'll go to the finals very quickly. Yeah, just so many great storylines here. And I see people in the chat saying this is the blue steel mirror I was waiting for. It is, but the only 2 blue steel decks to make the top 8 running into each other here. And so we'll have a the finals with with only one blue steel. The bogeyman kept at bay just a little bit. And again, for those just tuning in, this is a mirror in color, an ink color, but it's not a true mirror because these decks are very different in what they're trying to do and how they're looking to win the game.
Now, you had mentioned that Ryan's list with the Alice is kind of affectionately called Kiwi. And I'm not sure if I know the lore behind that name. Do you happen to know, Liam?
I know what I understand. So the chat will have to forgive me if I'm wrong here, viewers. But I think this deck, or this version of this deck, was iterated on and then created by, I believe it was Harlan Sweet, another great player over in Europe. And when this deck list was submitted for whatever event it was that it did pretty well at, the word Kiwi was in the name somewhere. It was either his melee name or the deck title, but it was completely inadvertent. And because that was on the top of the deck list when it kind of circulated, that stuck somehow. And so it's become a bit of a joke, I think, because it has no affiliation with whatever's in the deck. You think Kiwi, I think you think green. But yeah, so it's fun. Yeah, fun.
Well, I'm glad to see it here. And I mean, now in set 7 meta, as it's developing, that there are 2 playable variations in competitive Lorcana that you can see from Sapphire Steel. We know Harlan Sweetie from the Toy Lore Pro Discord, great Lorcana player. He has really brought just a lot to the table for Lorcana as a community as a whole, but Harlan has been a long time Sapphire Steel player, so really cool to see a list and a kind of a fun name get attached to the list.
Yeah, I agree. I do love when decks kind of get that moniker. The other one that occurs to me is Diggy Diggy Hole, popularized by Brendan DeCandio last set. I don't know. It's fun when deck identities get that label. I agree with you.
Yeah, Brandon, he is not going to be playing at Charlie's Collectible Show to defend his title because now, sadly and happy for him, he is now working over at Ravensburger doing game design. So we're sad to see him leave the player field, but glad to see him join Ravensburg as a whole. That means that next week, when 20 Lore Pro is live for Charlie's Collectible Show's Lorcana 10K, there will be a new champion crowned. We know that Zan is going to be coming to the event to compete, so it'll be some tough competition and a lot of fun. We already have over 240 players registered for that event, so we're really looking forward to next week's 10K Charlie's Collectible Show Lorcana tournament. But here we are going into game 2, Ryan versus Aaron. Ryan taking us off with a turn 1 Fortisphere into a bell.
Great combination this set. See if Aaron does the same. It's bell for bell. There's no question her name means beauty. And it is beautiful when you're playing steel and you see her on turn 1 like that. It's an anti-aggro card. There's other things it can do, but yeah, here we're being matched bell for bell. Back over to Aaron.
And again, we're so excited to be here with 20 Lore Pro at the Hunter Burton Memorial's Lorcana Championship. Again, thank you so much to our Enchanted level sponsors, Random Encounter Games, Cloud Collectibles, Mothership Books and Games, Pixelborn, The Card Haven, and Pixel Haven. We want to thank those sponsors for giving support to today's tournament and raising awareness to 988, the U.S. National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Great cause people are playing for here. And so on the other side of the board, Ryan played a dock on turn 2. Not the ideal turn 2 play, obviously choosing not to use his ability to dump his hand. An unequal card, so you might as well play it if you've got nothing else, but not the ideal turn 2 play there. On Aaron's side, using Bell to sing, or inking with Tipo, then using Bell to sing Let the Storm Rage On, dealing 2 damage to that Bell. And then the dock coming over and cleaning up the Bell on Aaron's side of the board. So back and forth here, dealing damage across the board, a little bit of board control each way. Aaron with a little bit of extra ramp, though, and we'll see how he uses that extra ink here. We do have the Alice come down on the other side of the board, though. Great early game quester. Sticks around. So now we have the Scrooge McDuck again, not played using its alternate cost, but played for its full cost here. But it does allow you to look at the top 4 cards of your deck to find an item. and Aaron digs out a Maurice's Workshop there. This is an uninkable 3-cost card. It's an item, and it says whenever you play another item, you can pay 1 ink to draw a card. And I've seen this card be devastating in this deck. There's so many items. I think usually it's about 33% items. A third of the cards, close to 20, if not 20, are items. And so plenty of fuel to keep this Maurice's Workshop going to get you those extra cards in the mid to end game here.
I'm not sure if it was Aaron specifically, but I know yesterday during the tournament, we did see this Maurice's Workshop, just like you were saying, Liam, just cause the player to draw so many cards, especially when you're playing low drop items. It really changed the corner for the game to where the player came back and they ended up getting that match.
I think so too. So many cards. So many cards. Popsicle played here, drawing a card. And we'll ink one of the Tamatoas, the big Tamatoas. Clarify now. And a Queen coming down. This is a card I know that Aaron and Zan added into their list for this tournament. At the very last minute, it was teched in. It wasn't played previously. This card was really put in here for the mirror match, looking for a way to gain an edge on other Sapphire Steel, particularly item builds. This card is from Ursula's Return, so it's been around for a while and seeing competitive play here. At the Hunter Burton Memorial Tournament. You can exert it to look at the top 4 cards of your deck, reveal an item card, and put it in your hand. If it costs 3 or less, you can play it for free. And in a deck with plenty of 3-cost or less items, you can see how this can give you an advantage and allow you to do... I talked about combos earlier. This is one of the combos that you're looking for in this deck, is leveraging the Queen to play things for free and then comboing that into other cards. So fun card here, and I'm willing to bet a lot of people are trying to scoop up a couple of those if they don't have them at this point. Pluto Bodyguard, as I was talking about the Queen, Pluto played on the other side in Bodyguard position. It's a 1/5. That's a 5/5 as long as it's not damaged.
Yeah, what a great character to protect that Alice.
Aaron forced, good point, forced to send 2 cards into that Pluto, clean it up. But Pluto effectively protecting that Alice there, letting her quest give Pete an extra lore there too. And now we see the Workshop come into play. Fortisphere, and we'll see if we'll trigger the Workshop. We will. Extra ink, draw another card, so 2 cards off the Fortisphere.
I wish to remind you all that the outcome of this match should be determined by a match of magic, an intentional draw, or an intentional concession. Do not attempt to randomly determine a winner, or improperly do so.
I'm not sure if you have plenty of events going on behind us. It feels like a convention here. It's called a tournament, but so many different events and games going on. It really is a fun place to be. Shield of Arendelle into the Inkwell. Popsicle will heal Scrooge McDuck. And it looks like passing of the turn.
And we've talked about the Shield of Arendelle, just the power that it can have, especially against Along Came Zeus and protecting your Tamatoa. But in this case, when you're trying to gain more ink and you need to continue to increase the count that we can play multiple cards a turn, having it sent to the Inkwell, not a bad choice.
No, definitely the right call here. Back over to Aaron, and the boards are looking a little sparse now. That Alice hanging around over there, no characters on Aaron's side of the board, but managed. I mean, Aaron is in the part of the game now where this deck wants to be, accumulating quite a bit of ink. We've got we've got Maurice's Workshop on the board. We're gonna get that Oswald into play, and a Pete saying no actions on your next turn. Oswald card that allows you to play items for free off the top of your deck. Man, a card that has been around again for a whole set that not a lot of people played initially, not terribly valuable for Legendary, and all of a sudden burst onto the scene a couple weeks ago. Very, very popular in this item build, and it can do some crazy shenanigans. Of course, every single time a card is inked, and if you ink more than 1 card a turn, you can activate it more than 1 time a turn. So, fun card here, and I'm interested to see. I love the roulette wheel every time it's used, seeing what we get off the top, because it could be nothing. It could be a 1-cost Popsicle, or it could be a 7-cost Lucky Dime.
Well, I like this state right here because you have that Oswald that can help you get cards off the top, but then you have the Maurice's Workshop. So if you do have an item that you can play an extra ink on, it'll allow you to draw.
That's right. I mean, you can trigger the workshop off the Oswald, and again, the combo deck in action here. So let's take a look. We'll draw a card here. Before we ink anything, we're going to play the Flavisham, eat the Fortisphere. Not as tasty as a popsicle, but it'll do just fine for 2 cards. Drawing 2. And let's see, I'm excited for this Oswald when it's used. Shield of Arendelle coming into play. Triggering the workshop, drawing another card.
And I believe that's the second and the last copy that Aaron is playing in his list.
Yeah, they started at 1. I think you're right. I think they are at 2.
And again, we will have all of these deck lists available to you. They were already posted in the Toy Lore Discord. Katie at the Lorekeepers Inn, who is live right now, has also been posting them in her chat. We'll make sure that these lists are out and available for everyone to view. And as we start to prepare for Charlie's Collectible Show's Lorcana 10K next weekend.
Is interesting here. So Aaron has yet to ink this turn, so we haven't seen that Oswald used. Thinking about through his play. Okay, we're going to Singlet the Storm Rage on, damaging Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse, affectionately known as Sticky Mickey, because he sticks around with his resist 1. So 1 damage there, drawing a card. And no ink that turn, unless I missed it, which I may have. But unless I missed it, I didn't see the use of the Oswald there. So back over to Ryan's side. Ryan playing that Pluto in bodyguard position here, able to quest with all of his characters, driving his lore total to 11.
Yeah, I know Aaron here is wanting to see more items because every item he sees is going to help him continue to gain card draw, gain resources, and get higher. Is that a second Oswald in his hand?
It is, and now, when the first Pluto came down, we had, some cards to deal with it. Now, there's just not a lot of strength on the board. We do see that second Oswald, but Pluto is a big body to get through. Alice, of course, with Ward, giving other characters wards, so targeted removal doesn't really work to remove some of those characters over there. So just a lot. I mean, we're still a couple turns away from winning here, but Aaron's going to have to deal with that board state pretty well. Flavisham now eating the Maurice's Workshop to draw 2 cards. And I wish I could see his hand. I'm guessing, I do see a couple storms, probably I'm wondering if there was just a huge uninkable problem last turn preventing him from leveraging those Oswalds. So now we do see an ink. That Pete's going to go to the bottom. It is not an item. We're going to look at the other card. It's an item, so we are going to play the Popsicle. The Popsicle will trigger, draw a card.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, Liam. I think an ink problem may have been the issue. Now we're seeing these items come out that he really needs.
Get the Bell on the board. That's 3 strength to deal with some of these characters. Okay, we will sing Strength of Raging Fire. We've established 5 characters on the board, and we're going to run several of them, the Oswald and the Pete, into the Pluto, remove that from the board. So we've done a little bit of damage control here. Clear off the board. Back over to Ryan with 3 lore showing on the board.
Wow, that was a scary board state from Ryan's side. And here's another Pluto from Ryan. This Alice just being able to quest in. It has really done so much work this match for Ryan.
Yeah, those Plutos just a menace. Just a lot to deal with. Forcing Aaron to devote multiple resources each turn to dealing with it. And meanwhile, that Alice has been on the board since what, turn 3? Like, is that might have been the turn 3 play?
I think turn 3. It has been there since then, and it has quested in and given other cards ward and more lore.
It's it is not a super imposing board state, but you know, you have to devote resources every turn to dealing with this, and Aaron just unable to build that engine we saw last game. I do wonder though about the inkable challenge in the mid game. I wish I could see his hand, but of course with one camera top down view we can't see it as much as we'd like. But I do think that also had been a problem in the mid game for Aaron, so just not an ideal draw. But Ryan, I mean, playing this deck very, very well and forcing Aaron to have answers turn after turn after turn. We'll see what answers Aaron has here.
I think we're also off a lore because I believe Alice would have given one of the Mickeys the +1 and then quested from 11 to 13, 15.
Yeah, that is right. Upon quest, every turn Alice does give an extra lore. So if that's the case, and I didn't see the math, but that would be true. Here we are challenging, and there we go, doing some work, clearing up that board a bit, sending all the characters that way. Did establish the big Tamatoa. We do have 2 Mickeys, which can quest there. 3 sticky Mickeys now hanging around.
Goodness.
Let's see which way we choose to go.
I think no other cards in hand either, right?
I don't think so. I'll have to double
Yeah.
check. So burned out a little bit on hand here, going to 16. Again, I mean, never completely out of this game at this point. There are 2 items. I will point out, there are always outs. And Ryan still is able to play, if he's able to play characters every single turn, Aaron has to have answers for it to prevent him running away with this game. And you do have a Glean. So as long as you have an item on the board here, drawing into a Glean allows you to banish an item and gain 2 lore. I believe that's in Ryan's deck list. And that would close things out. So this game is even if Aaron gains control of the board here, removes everything except those items, it's still within reach for Ryan. So Aaron's definitely wanting to close this out sooner rather than later.
And there's the Forbidden Mountain in the chat pointing out that Alice giving Pluto a ward prevents it from getting targeted by Along Came Zeus. That was a great point from Forbidden Mountain. So we're here at 16. This is close.
Yeah, it's such a Aaron really, really has to push this game here. We do play the Fishbone Quill. Looks like we're questing with the Tamatoa. Pull the Popsicle back. We're going to eat another Popsicle with a Flavisham upon quest. Draw 2 cards. This is the engine we know from the last few sets clicking. With the Tamatoa pulling items back, Flavisham eating them, getting that card advantage. Popsicles back onto the board. Draw another card. So Aaron really cycling through his cards here. Use the Fishbone Quill, ink a card. But you do have to think about those cards on the board over there. Popsicle used to heal Pete, heal Bell, sending him to those 2 Mickeys, clearing those off, left with 1 Mickey. Trying to take a look at Aaron's hand here. I do see the Fortis Sphere. Just what's on top. Fortis Sphere coming down, drawing a card. To Popsicle, we'll play that again. Draw a card. Sapphire doing Sapphire things. I drew into a Bell so we can establish even more. Widen the board just a little bit more if we want to. It is the Oswald.
Second Oswald, or really the third one this game.
Third Oswald, yeah, I think. The Bell into the Inkwell to reveal the top card, send it to the bottom. One thing I learned on the Oswald, you know, Zan made the point talking to us recently that a lot of people, when they're watching his streams or watching him play, count the number of times the Oswald misses and says, oh, you missed, 15 times or whatever, you only hit this percentage of the time. So Oswald clearly not paying off for you. And Aaron points out, or Zan points out, that it is, even though you miss and you're sending cards to the bottom, you're giving yourself information. You know your deck list and you know how many cards are in there. So as you cycle characters to the bottom of the deck or misses off the Oswald, you know how the odds change and you can better predict what you're going to draw in the next few turns. So even a miss is valuable as it sends things to the bottom and gives you more information.
I think in this case, it actually helped him this turn because he drew into the dime this turn, the lucky dime. So even though he missed last turn on the Oswald, like you were saying, Liam, it allowed him an extra card away from his deck. That way he could then draw into that lucky dime that he needs.
And here we go, 6 lore on that Tamatoa. Oh, I think we quested with it. Then we got 6 lore. Then we closed things out. I mean, wow. Again, shut the door very fast with the items, the lucky dime. Wow. Oh, there's the glean. There's the glean.
Oh,
was
he
that off the
had
top?
it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
If that, I mean, golly, I mean, Aaron closed the game down there in that turn with the lucky dime. We saw him do that in game 1. He did it here in game 2 with just the plethora of items and the Tamatoa and the lucky dime. I mean, I have to go back and look again, but did we have the Mickey on board still?
There's this Mickey.
Did we have that one Mickey on
board?
board?
We had the one Mickey.
I mean, if we did have the one Mickey on board, then the glean is game over on Ryan's side if he top decks into that. What a interesting finish here. Talk all game about how that could make the difference. Here we're at 17 lore, drawing into that glean with one other character allows Ryan to steal that game against a really imposing board state, but Aaron managing to shut that down with that lucky dime at the right time. I mean, a really, really great game played by both players. Lots of synergy going on there between the Alices and the Ward and the Plutos, able to quest, all the way up to 17 before Aaron manages to build his engine and shut things down. But a lot of fun there. And we do have now the reigning champion of the Hunter Burton Memorial Lorcana tournament heading into the finals, where he'll face off against Amethyst Steel. And in some ways, this is a deck that we have seen the last few sets, not very many changes. This Amethyst Steel deck, just working in a few new cards, with a item synergy deck that is significantly different than the previous iterations of that deck. So it's kind of the new bogeyman versus an established older player in this Amethyst Steel deck. The reigning champion against the challenger. Really interesting storyline here. Excited for it.
I'm really excited to see this. I mean, we've been talking with Lorcana Bro all weekend. He's been excited to come to this tournament. He's pretty busy the rest of this month, so he can't travel to these other tournaments. So he's like, I've got to defend my title. And I'm so glad to see him and here in the finals. And again, you, the viewers at home, we want to thank you all so much for coming here to the Hunter Burton Memorial, for watching live here on 20 Lore Pro. And Liam, for you for joining us. I mean, it's great to have the Illumiteers here. You and Aaron have been great. We've got interviews from Aaron that we'll make sure that we have posted, but it's been a great time having you here.
Aaron and I both appreciate it so much. It is right up the road from us, and you asking us to commentate here this year and last year has just been really special. Anytime that we get to be a part of at any event, bringing a Lorcana game, like top level competitive Lorcana, to you at home, and being part of that link is really special for us. We enjoy it. We love connecting with you all. And when we get to do it with 20 Lore Pro and you, Wesley, it's even more special. They're a wonderful organization. I know all of you who interact with them on a day-to-day basis on their Discord or whatever knows that, but behind the scenes here at these events, they're just as awesome. And you all are doing a great job, bringing the Lorcana community together and I don't know, building something special.
No, I appreciate that, Liam. That means a lot. And we've been talking about this all throughout the tournament, throughout the event, the beginning speech that we gave, and education over 988. But finding a community, a group of people that you find that you can share life with, that you can enjoy, you can de-stress from work, from the things that bring you pressure from a day-to-day is so important. Find those self-care things, those hobbies that can help you just put that energy into something that's healthy and can really restore you from what you're going through is so important. And so Lorcana is that for me. It's like that for so many others. So we're so thankful to be a part of Hunter Burton Memorial, to bring to life and to notice that 988 is available to help you if you are going through suicidal ideation or through a mental health crisis. So again, that number is 988. They are available 24/7 to help you if you are a person who struggles with mental health or are going through suicidal ideation. Again, we want to highlight that to you that's available. And thank you all so much for joining us here for the Hunter Burton Memorial Lorcana Championship. Thank you, Liam. And we're going to have the finals here in just a little bit. I think it's going to happen very quickly because the other top 4 match already happened. And so we're going to pair these players up very quickly. So you'll see me and Liam here in just a little bit. And I can see off screen that they're already getting them paired. So we'll take a short break and we will be back here with you in just a moment.
Very short.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hunter Burton Memorial. I am so excited to be joined by Logan, one of the co-captains of Team World Class Cards. It's great to see you, Logan.
I'm glad to be here.
You guys are kind of being buzzed about in the Lorcana community right now because you're releasing your player roster on social media right now. Can you tell me a little bit about the formulation of World Class Cards and about just your team in general?
Yeah, it was ironic how it all came about. It was all about sheer push of Robert and Robert leaning on the player base that we had and saying that he wanted to create something like Channel Fireball, and that's how World Class Cards began. It recruited from international to where we are in the U.S. of players that you guys know and ones that will be announced soon. But it's been a great experience and journey, but I look forward to being able to share the rest of our team who's on this team as well. I don't want to kind of expose that too soon, but it's been a great journey and it's growing right now.
And I know we have just this weekend 3 players that I think everybody knows about that's on your team that competed in the Hunter Burton Memorial. Yourself, Zan Syed, and Aaron Rubin was announced yesterday. So that's so exciting.
One of us made it, so great. So the plan worked.
That's incredible. Well, we're so excited to see the rest of your team come out. Y'all also have an event coming up here in 2 weeks, a 5K in Wisconsin. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Actually, it's 2 5Ks, and depending on players, it might be more. So, hopefully whoever shows up, they'll find out.
That's awesome. So what city in Wisconsin is it going to be in?
The town I am not familiar with. If you are going to fly in, your best bet is to go to Chicago or actually fly into Milwaukee. Milwaukee's 45 minutes from the event. We can get the information to you. Just reach out to me or reach out to Zan and we can get that for you. Chicago is about an hour and 30 minutes. So I don't know the exact detail because it's not at Robert's location. It's at another location that I'm not familiar with.
Okay, well, the event's in 2 weeks, so get online, book your plane tickets now. There's another really cool thing I think y'all are releasing as you're kind of talking about your team. It is Club World Class, and you're basing it on Club 33 from Disney, which is so cool. Tell me about that.
Very excited about it. It's going to be very unique. It's going to be a great exclusive for anybody that joins. We are having a cap right now at 99. I think we're almost halfway there right now, and it's been announced for less than 2 weeks. So I will tell you that people are going to get founder boxes, and the things that you get in those founder boxes, you can't get anywhere else. I mean, things from the beginning of when Lorcana first started. I don't want to give out too many details. I'll just tell you this. It's a great opportunity. You're going to be around all of us. When we test and we do things, you're going to be able to see that, ask us questions. We're going to have a weekly podcast inside of this Discord as well in this team, World Class Cards. On top of that, you'll be able to have discounts on Metafy. There's a lot to be there. I hope you all show up to the event. We have a lot of surprise. I don't want to give it all out, but whoever is the first 99 are going to see a lot of benefits from being those 99. So I look forward to seeing you in our Discord.
Well, so you mentioned Discord. How can folks at home follow along World Class Cards if they're not able to make it to the event in 2 weeks? What are
we are on X at World Class Lorcana, and then we have our Facebook page as well. I would definitely, if you want to keep up what's going to be updated as we get closer to these events and the other events we have, I would follow our Facebook, our Instagram, which is World Class Cards, and then on X is World Class Lorcana.
Awesome. And then y'all have a Discord, which y'all have a lot of community engagement there as well.
Yes. So there'll be 2 different levels. There'll be the founder members, the players side, and then the community as well.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Logan, for taking the time. We'll keep our eye on Aaron, who's made it into the top 8 here at Hunter Burton Memorial, and best of luck on the event in a couple weeks.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thanks.